Hey everybody, my name is Shelby and I am a current senior at the University of Scranton studying political science and international business. And I am currently studying at the American Business School of Paris in Paris, so feel free to follow me throughout my day. This is one of my favorite places to study. It's the 𝗟𝗧𝗧 Fountain in the Luxembourg Garden. And it's a really pretty and chill place to relax. So I'm gonna do some of that. So I'm staying at a homestay, which is a little different and more like a regular room. I know that towels and linens are provided for everybody, so you don't have to worry about that. Definitely chargers, they're different here in Europe, and if you decide to go to England for a weekend or something like that, England has its own conversion, so you need to make sure that you are prepared for that, so you don't not have a phone for a couple of days. Leave hair dryers and straighteners at home or things like that. They are going to be more of a hassle than they're worth. Try to buy them here. Otherwise, you know, simple toiletries, clothing, try to dress for multiple types of weather, whether it's rainy or cold or warm. So try to bring a lot of different clothes, but other than that, it's like a typical dorm. Je parle un peu le français, mais je ne le parle pas comment. I speak French, but I'm not fluent. I can converse with people, I can get around, I can read all the signs, and I also read books in French to really try to improve, but I still struggle from time to time, so do not worry about that. People try to be as accommodating as possible. Along with that, several people in the program do not know a lot of French at all, so that is not necessarily a problem. A lot of things are offered in English, whether it be tours or audio guides, but I will say try to learn some basic phrases, at least try to be polite. Bonsoir, bonjour, au revoir, merci beaucoup. These are all important, and people really appreciate you trying. So I've relaxed for about an hour, so I think I'm going to head back to my apartment, grab my laptop, and find a cafe to show you all, to study and work a little bit on a project. I've really enjoyed staying in a homestay. I really love my host family. They're very lovely people. I have a host mom as well as one of her family friends who's a girl my age staying with me, and it's allowed me to immerse myself in French culture in a way that I didn't expect, because I get to celebrate with them and interact with them in a way that I wouldn't if I was just in an apartment. Like, we just celebrated my roommate's birthday, which was so fun. I've tried my host mom's wonderful cooking, which is so lovely, and I get to speak French on a daily basis, which is really good for me. This is a really big question, and I know people can get really concerned about it. It is so easy to get around Paris, especially because there is something called the Navigo card, which has a metro pass that you can use. You can do it in different zones as well as different lengths of time. I have the full pass for a month, as well as I'm going to extend it a little bit for the end of my stay, and it makes it so easy. They also have something called City Mapper, which I really recommend. I think it's not only in Paris, it's in a lot of metro lines in Europe, and it can get you from one destination to another really easily. It's been a lifesaver for me when it comes to trying to find my way around, and it makes it much easier than just trying to follow a map. So I chose this program because it was the best suited for my needs specifically. I am a rising senior, so I've already completed my minor in French, so doing an immersion program, which would have been really useful for language, wouldn't have transferred credit-wise. So I wanted to do a program that would allow me to take classes in both my major, which the American Business School of Paris does, It gives me experience in French-speaking countries, so I can improve my French, which was really important to me. And it's also a brief program, so my program is in June, basically, and that allows me, when I come back to the States, to have the time to work on my research, because I have a grant that I won, so I would like to make sure I can dedicate time to that, so it gives me the best of both worlds. So I'm taking European and International Relations and European Management. The first one is political science class, and the second one is an international business class, which are my two majors. So it is pretty similar to what they are at home. There's twice a week for 3 hours, which is a little bit of a long time, but it gets us through a lot of information and makes us see different perspectives, especially as an American student who might not consider these things. It's pretty similar to what they are at home, presentations, papers, things like that, but it is done a little bit more briefly because it is only for 7 weeks. So this is a bit of a difficult question because my classes are not all at the same time. On Wednesdays and Fridays, my classes are from 8:30 to 11:30, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my class is from 3:30 to 6:30. So that means my day really depends on what day of the week it is. On Mondays, I like to explore. Today was expected some thunderstorms, so I decided to stay in a little bit more, go to the park in the morning. Now I'm going to work on a presentation at a workspace cafe, which is pretty cool. On a normal day, I usually, depending on my schedule, try to find something to do either in the morning or the afternoon to make the most of my time. I'm not really sure what you mean by this question, but in general, I found people are really nice. They do really appreciate when you try to speak French to them. There's a lot of people who do not speak English in this country because the older generation really didn't have to. So that is something to consider too. People just appreciate when you try, and when you try to be kind and polite. They might laugh at Americans being a little oblivious at times, but in general, I've had a really good time meeting all different types of people from Paris. You might not like this answer, but the true answer is it can be. I tend to try to find cheaper menus. There's something called 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦, which is a set menu. It's very common for lunch hour here in Paris, so that's usually pretty cheap, under €20. If you go to more expensive places, like the touristy areas, they're going to be more expensive. The student districts are much less expensive. Groceries are a lot cheaper here than in the States as well. I've made my own food a couple of times, and it is so much cheaper compared to in the US. When it comes to travel, it's pretty cheap that way too, but you just have to look for deals, look for reputable sources as well so you don't get scammed. So generally, it's going to be as expensive as you make it. In general, it's pretty easy to talk to my host family. Occasionally we have to use 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦 translate if we don't necessarily know a phrase or things like that. But in general, we communicate pretty effectively.